one that he has written down, which I'm happy because I forgot about, and this is a good topic, is Ortiz versus Holloway. You watch that?
Or Ortega?
I'm sorry, Ortega. Oh, yeah, Ortiz.
My
Ortega.
handwriting is terrible.
Man.
I'm looking at it, but I knew it was Ortega. I'm sorry.
I'll throw my input because I'll lead it to you because you can obviously give a much more educated opinion on it. But like Ortega has been so impressive. That guy, like you know when there's a dominant champion, you always like see like that guy where you're like, ooh, that might be the guy. And Ortega has been awesome. And with Holloway, the thing is with Holloway is I remember I think I seen his first fight with like Andre Feely where he was 19 years old, and so we've seen Holloway for such a long time where it's like it's kind of hard to put together what you've seen before and what you see now and realize that Holloway is incredible. He is a dangerous dude because his thing was before where he was a little bit lanky and he could pick you apart, and we watched him fight Aldo a couple times. He picked him apart. Yeah. And I watched that fight against Ortega, and like, you know, Ortega's a tough dude. He was really never in any position to win that fight. You know, Holloway had him. You know, Holloway was in control of the entire fight, and that was the first time where I've watched, and I've probably watched at least half a dozen Holloway fights at this point, where I was like, dude, Holloway is the real deal, man. That kid has. And what's scary is, what is he now, 24, 25, if I'm not mistaken?
I'm thinking he's 25, 26. Yeah.
He's only going to get better still.
Yeah, he's not even in his prime yet.
Going to get better, which is scary, which McGregor beat Holloway in a 3-round decision a few years ago. I think right now if it was a Holloway versus McGregor fight, you know, weight classes with, you know, just saying McGregor can make 45 without issue. I think if we put that fight up right now, I think it'd be like probably 75-25 people favoring Holloway. Like, I think it's just that he's improved so much and his game's improved so much that I don't think there's a whole lot of guys out there right now that can beat him.
At that weight class, no. I don't think there's any. I think what this fight did
Ortega might have been that guy.
I think Ortega, he could come back, and you know he's never lost before, so you get to really see what a loss does. But Holloway just seemed like he was a step ahead the whole time.
For sure.
And to see what Ortega did against Frankie Edgar, which has always been a top 3, top 4 guy.
Edgar's never an easy battle.
No.
Not against
and
anybody, not today, not any day, and Ortega handled him.
He made it look like it was nothing, like he was fighting an amateur. The McGregor thing is really interesting because we know Holloway's gotten a lot better. McGregor, has he gotten better? And McGregor won that fight on a blown ACL, which is unbelievable to me.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he blew his ACL out in the first round.
Shit.
And so that would be definitely a money fight. He'd have to. I don't think at this point in their career, the way Holloway's cardio is and how he has a second gear in that the 4th and 5th round, even the 3rd, he like slow. He does what the Diaz does, but he does it better.
I think so.
You know?
It's accurate. He throws a lot of strikes, and he doesn't slow down, but he's a little bit more accurate about it, and you can't take him down.
Yeah, great takedown. Yeah,
great takedown defense. There's always thing about the Diaz boys is that if you're a very strong, dominant wrestler, you could take him down and do some damage. Not Holloway.
Mm-hmm. Like he gets right back up.
Yeah,
he's relentless, dude. Like most of the fight, Ortega couldn't like reciprocate because he was just coming at him the whole time. Like he didn't even have time to really think about what to do. I would think he's getting punched in his. What round do you think his nose got broken? The second round?
End of the second round.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, his nose was broken for 2 more full rounds after that, and he was just getting punched in the nose.
And that's a huge advantage for Holloway. Yeah, once you broke the guy's nose, they're having trouble breathing.
Yep.
And Holloway was a smart enough and a good enough fighter to completely capitalize on it.
And he was for sure.
But in that 3rd round, it looked like the tide was turning a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Because Holloway was. I don't know if he was getting too confident or what, but in that 3rd round, I think Ortega was starting to find his timing, find his space, and then just like that in the 4th round, he's like, nope, this is my round. Like he told Joe Rogan, I believe, in the 4th round, he's like, this is my round. Yeah. And he went out, and it looked like a brand new fighter.
He called
what in the fuck, man?
He called that before the fight, too, and I think he even said in his speech, like, I made a lot of people a lot of money tonight because I probably bet on that.
Right.
Because, like, I would imagine that just him saying that makes that a bet at some point. Like, wouldn't that be like something?
There's like I know Vegas. I don't know if you can do it round, like pick what round. I'm sure you can. But I feel like if they start doing that, fighters can start fixing stuff.
That's true.
Yeah.
A little bit better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
A
Like,
lot of room for error
If
there.
they actually know what the odds are 100% and
Right.
what they could do to affect it and make themselves more money.
but Holloway was the underdog in this fight.
Was it?
And yeah, he was the
I
underdog
didn't realize that.
on paper, and I think it was almost justified because Ortega's been just mowing down people, and he's been. And Holloway had that like scare. I don't know if it was they said he might have had a mini stroke or something before when he
I
was.
didn't hear about that.
Yeah,
at
when he was
all.
cutting down to fight Khabib.
Wow.
Yeah, that's why they had to get a replacement.
That's why he got pulled out. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then the first Ortega fight, they had to scrap it. I think the day before because he was like slurring his words. And Michael Bisping was doing an interview with him, like, "You just wake up, like, what's going on here?" And he's like coherent, but he's like slurring his words like he's drunk almost. So
I didn't know.
there was that scare, but
With that being said, you think is there going to be pressure for Holloway to get out of the 145 division then?
I think he cleaned that division out with that win.
And if there's scare on his weight loss, maybe affecting him. Now 155 is cluttered. 155 is probably the most cluttered
It's
division.
kind of a
there is
mess,
now.
especially after this last fight.
Iaquinta just beat
Exactly.
Kevin Lee, which Iaquinta, if you want to do MMA math, which is not smart for anybody to do, but if you do MMA math, Iaquinta really has a more legitimate claim than McGregor does for the title. If you do MMA math, I say Ferguson, of course, is the top guy.
Yeah, they have to do that fight,
They
even though
have
they've
to
tried
do
to do
that
it 5
fight.
times or 4 times or whatever. It's
But
been.
Iaquinta went 5 rounds with Khabib and didn't do any damage, but he hung in there the whole time. He did better than McGregor did if you put it by the
Right.
numbers. And then he beat a very good fighter in Kevin Lee last night.
Yeah, I've always said Kevin Lee is the future of that division, but
Iaquinta won that fight last
Oh
night.
yeah, he legit won, and there's no like he did. He went 5 rounds against Khabib and had some good moments in that fight and took it on 1 day's notice.
Right, yeah.
I mean, he was getting ready for it. He was fighting that night regardless, but it was a 3-round fight. And I've done 3-round fights. I've done 5-round fights, and the preparation for a 5-round fight is completely different. I mean,
understandably so.
I bet.
I mean, it is.
We can
I mean,
only
you're
imagine.
You're almost
but-
fighting twice. So you got to prepare that. So your
Sure.
sparring rounds, you're doing 5 sparring rounds. You're doing
Sure, yeah. If you're preparing for your fight, it's how can you prepare yourself to go 15 minutes in the cage and then know how do you prepare to go 25 minutes in the cage? That's a whole different thing.
Right.
How you expend your energy, because it doesn't matter how good a cardiovascular shape you're in. You can only expend so much energy in 15 minutes as opposed to 25 minutes. It's real life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I completely understand that. If Al Quinta's training for a 15-minute fight, he is not prepared to go out there 25 minutes. He went out there for 25 minutes, survived for 25 minutes.
Yeah.
However you want to put it. It's
and
not the
with a
same.
strong wrestler in Khabib where it just smothers you. He takes you down, and you wrestled. You understand what it's like. You get taken down at will, or you get laid on. It's just like,
Oh, sure.
I mean, you can if you had a video game meter. Just every time you get taken down, it wouldn't just drain; it would just drop. You know what
Yep.
I mean? So
It would just
Well,
disappear.
there's a mental aspect too. There's mentally where you mentally build yourself up, where you're like, I have to get out of here. I have to get out from underneath this guy. There's a mental aspect of it too, where and that's a different thing from 3 or 5 rounds. 3 rounds, you got to win 2 of them. 5 rounds, if I get taken down in the first, maybe I'm a little bit more relaxed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he's got me. I'm going to survive. I'm not going to let him pound me out. I'm not going to let him get the submission. I'm going to conserve my energy. Now, the second round, if he gets on me again, then it's a different story. But there's there's a mindset that's going into it of how you will manage your rounds as you're in there in the cage as opposed to 3 or 5.
So when my first ever 5-round fight was against Dan Spawn, and I injured my leg in the first round, but that's no excuse because in the second and third round I won those rounds, but my body was so used to. I tried so hard in the third round that by the fourth round I was like, fuck this.
Dan Spawn, who had fought 5-round fights before.
Exactly. So he comes out And the fourth round, I just gutted through. I made it. He won that round. And then the fifth round, I was so, like, not only just gassed, but just so, like, defeated because my body just didn't want it. I just couldn't do it.
Did you look across the cage and look at a guy who was, like, knew what he was doing at that
exactly
spot?
what he was doing.
He might have known that you didn't.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you are tired and you just, I remember going back between the third and the fourth round. I go, "This is the fifth round, right?" And they're like, "No, this is the fourth round." And I just remember going, "What?"
Wow.
And then going into that fifth round and looking over, and he's looking straight through me like he knew I was toast.
Shit.
And he came out firing. I was done. Now, I took that, and then the next fight I had was against Richard Odoms. I might have lost that first round. I knew that, but I was like, I got him the next four because
You looked across the cage and thought, like, I got more in me than he does.
Oh yeah, because he was trying to kill me in the first round.
Sure.
And then I look over and I go, I'm here all day, buddy.
And that was probably him and his coach's game plan was this kid's younger, this kid's got a little more energy, let's go take him out. And when he didn't do it, he knew that he had to go 20 more minutes with you.
Yep.
And it wasn't
going into that fifth round, the first thing he does is throw a terrible, hard as he could, telegraph rear leg kick. I checked it. He tried to do it again. I check it again. He crumbles. He falls over, and I go, that's the fight right there, folks.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't getting up after that. So I've been in 3 5-round fights, and they're not fun. I don't want to ever do it again.
You know you probably will, though. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the idea is, buddy, is that you're going to be in some 5-round fights.
Yeah.
If you're not in 5-round fights, then
What the hell are you doing?
The UFC career hasn't. Well, I guess I should say that if you're in the 5-round fight, if it's scheduled for 5 rounds, you're doing really well.
Yeah, you're doing well.
Yeah, if you're scheduled for 5 rounds, you're doing really well. You don't have to go there.
It's not so much the fight; it's the training camps that. I mean,
you
really
have to train for them.
You really learn something about yourself when you're doing those 5-round camps. So, yeah, that's my take on Ortega. Yeah, not Ortiz.
You got I thought of a couple more things that happened in between while we were talking about this, but you want to talk about Nama Yunus and
Thug Rose? That's your girl.
No, I do like.
Are we talking about Joanna and Valentino?
Yeah. I don't know why. I
said
yeah.
Well, that's why Joanna went up to 25, not to 15, because she can't get her belt back.
Yeah. That was a very one-sided fight, I thought.
Yeah.
Like Joanna didn't really stand a chance at all.
They don't have a lot of girls with established names in those lower weight classes, so Joanna will probably get those opportunities as long as they could. And this is what's unfortunate about Joanna, which I liked her. I was over at your house where she beat was it Carla Spenza?
Oh, she killed her.
She murdered her, and we're like, oh my god, this is a girl.
This is a different female fighter.
And she was, but I mean I think at this point because Thug Rose didn't murder her, but Thug Rose beat her soundly twice in a row, and Joanna got this next title shot where she got beat soundly, where I think the game's passed her by. Mm-hmm. It just has, and then it's going to happen to everybody, and I think the game's kind of passed her by where they're going to utilize her name as much as they can, especially these lower women's weight classes.
Right.
Yeah.
When there's really only maybe 15 top fighters that belong in that weight class in the world. You got to think like that. Like there's not a whole lot of female fighters, and then in the upper echelon there might only be 5 girls that can truly hang with these champions.
No, for sure.
I mean to fight 5 rounds, you hung with them. That person, because if it was that one-sided, she would have stopped you in the first round.
Yeah, for sure.
But like a Cyborg or something like that. But yeah, you saw it with men's MMA. Now you're seeing it with women's MMA. Like somebody gets on top. Ronda Rousey was on top, and then the wheels fell off because everybody caught up.
Yeah.
They got to keep catching up, and eventually, I mean, I think these women you see it with women's wrestling right now. Some of these women's wrestling matches are better than the guys.
Yeah.
Speaking of women's MMA, how excited are you for the Nunez and Cyborg fight? That's the fight in women's MMA.
It is, but I think Cyborg's on a mower.
You really do?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I think Cyborg will mow her on her feet, but I think Nunez is more well-rounded. I think
if she can get that big woman down.
I think Cyborg's scarier.
I think Nunez is the girl that could trade with her long enough to get inside and get her down.
Yeah.
Get inside with a lesbian MMA fighter. Don't take that pun. It wasn't intended.
Cyborg's not a lesbian. Oh, the other one is. Yeah,
and her wife is good too.
Yeah, is it which one? Is it?
I can't remember her name, but she won on that same card, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So